talking about my experience with bowel surgery. So if you watched the last video, you'll know I sort of ended it by saying that the consultant called me and said that I was going to have surgery. So he referred me to a colorectal surgeon who's a specialist in Crohn's disease surgery, and I had my first meeting with her. Basically she drew me a diagram of what she was going to have to do, where the Crohn's disease was, what she was going to have to take out. I'll put a picture of it up here so you can see. The yellow dots is where the Crohn's disease are, and the blue lines is where the incisions were going to have to be. So that was the section she was going to have to take out. She said also she thought there was a little bit in my sigmoid colon, so she was going to have to cut the edge of that off and take that out too, and then stitch that back up. So she said that it was probably best that we didn't do it keyhole because of that part down there. She wanted to make sure that she was able to properly get that sealed back up. Otherwise obviously I could get sepsis, and she said that there's a risk that I could get sepsis and die if that wasn't healed together properly. So oh, and she also said that it was basically the same scar size anyway, and that I would have less scars because they wouldn't have to make the holes for the ports of the cameras and stuff to go into. So we went through what the process was going to be. She gave me a consent form and everything. And if you're about to have one of these surgeries and that's why you're watching this video, don't be scared about the risks, because obviously you read through this consent form and it's oh, you could get sepsis, you could die, and it's it is scary, but it tells you the statistics of how likely they are to happen, and it's really not that likely. Plus, you know, you're probably in pretty good hands. That definitely comforted me a lot, knowing that I was with someone that was a specialist, so it made me feel a lot better. But it is kind of scary to be reading a form that you have to sign that says you might die and it won't be your fault if you do. It's kind of scary, but I mean, you've just got to do it. It was my only option, so I had to. And it was one of those things if I got the surgery, I could die from having the surgery, but it's more likely that I would have an improved life, whereas if I didn't get the surgery I would have died. So, you know, you've got to just take a risk sometimes. You just gotta go for it. So I had that appointment with her and I asked a load of questions. I did have a list, I should have kept them really, to let you guys know. I can't really remember really much of what happened in that meeting. This is the only thing of because I was a bit of an emergency, everything was rushed. So it was I found out I was gonna have to have surgery, and then within 2 weeks I was in the hospital having surgery. So it was really everything at once, so it's hard for me to remember everything. So I went to my pre-assessment, and that's basically where a nurse does an ECG to check your heart rate, and they ask you a load of questions if you have any heart conditions, if you have any breathing conditions, if you have any allergies. I'm allergic to latex and I think to iodine as well, so all the people that have allergies go first so that they don't have any of the things that you could be allergic to in the operating room, and there's no chance of you having a reaction. So fast forward a bit, and I was going into hospital to get surgery, which was scary. The night before I had to drink these glucose drinks, which are basically just sugar water. Yeah, they were alright, they didn't taste bad, but and also the morning of, so I had to get up at 6 AM or something, like 5:30, 6 a.m, drink it, which was just knocking me sick. Like I couldn't drink it all because it was so early and it was so sweet. And then that was it then. I was off to hospital, which was quite scary. Mum walked me up like to the ward and they were like, well, you have to go now. And she was like, don't want to let you go. So I went in. I think they asked me, they ask you like a few times, like what surgery you're having, do you know why you're having it, and like do you still want to have it, because obviously like they don't want to get you mixed up with somebody else and put you in for somebody else's surgery, and also they have to make sure that you definitely have consented to it, I think. So somebody came around, asked me what surgery I was having, then I got given like a gown, got fitted for some compression tights, and then I went and got changed into them. His little picture of me in my gown. And so I was just sat there waiting. I was the first surgery for the morning, which was quite good because it meant that I didn't have to wait too long. I think I was probably waiting for maybe an hour or something like that. I think if I remember right, it was at, I think my surgery was at 9:45 in the morning. It was either 9:45 or 9:15. I can't remember which. So I walked down, like somebody from the what's it called, like anesthesiologist, the people that put you to sleep. One of them came and got me, it's like a little team of them, and we walked down to the little anesthesia room, where they like put you to sleep before your surgery. So it's like I could see in through the doors, like there was the theatre where they were gonna do my surgery, and I was in like a little room like joined onto it. And then they like untied the back of my gown, got me into the bed. I had to give them my slippers and my dressing gown, and then they were just chatting to me, like putting like a cannula in my hand and stuff. So I was breathing in this oxygen, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna put the anesthetic through now. I was like, okay. And I felt like up my arm go really cold, and then I got this like prickly heat feeling over my face, and I went, whoa, that was it. I was out. And then the next thing I remember is like waking up. I was like trying really hard to wake up, and I was like, what is going on? Like opening my eyes and then closing again, and they were like, oh, she's waking up, hi Ellie, can you hear me, and I was like, yeah. Did not want to wake up. And I remember just being like, what the hell's going on now? I looked down and I had another cannula in my other hand, and he had told me that they were going to put another one in my hand, but I thought that he would have taken it back out before I woke up. So I was going, why have I got two catheters in my hand? Which obviously they were cannulas, not catheters. And they were laughing like, no, it's a cannula, like we'll just leave it in for a bit in case you need any blood. So I was like, okay. And then I got wheeled into ward, it was ward 56 that I got moved to after my surgery. I was back there again, but it was like a different day, and I got wheeled. That was knocking me sick, being wheeled through there, because I was like half asleep and I was like going down the corridors. So then I got wheeled in and I was the only person in the room, which was good because I was just like so groggy. And then like I remember like I was trying to wake up, and then I'd like try and start messaging people, because people were messaging me saying like, oh, good luck with your surgery. So it's like trying to message people back, but as I was typing I was falling back asleep. So I would wake up, look down at my phone, and I'd type like the start of a sentence and then a load of random that made no sense. So I was like, oh, what? Go back, try and get rid of it and type again. It was taking me like 2 hours to send each message because I just kept falling back asleep. And then that's like the last thing I remember from that day, because it was like a real blur, because I was just waking up, falling back asleep, waking up, falling back asleep. And then the next day I woke up, the surgeon came to speak to me. She did say that she came around to speak to me the day before, but I was completely out of it. I don't even remember her coming to see me that day. And she just said like, oh, it went really well, but like we had to make the incision bigger than we thought we'd have to, because there was some, like, because basically my intestines were like diseased, they'd gone all like sticky on the outside, so they were sticking to different parts of my intestines. So when they tried to pull out the diseased part, it was stuck to part of my large intestine, so it like, they had to kind of cut a hole out of it and then like rejoin it together. And I like looked down and I realised I had a stoma bag stuck to my skin, and I was like, oh. Because I wasn't really that bothered about the possibility of having a stoma. Like, if you don't know what a stoma is, it's basically, well, I've got a loop ileostomy, which means they pulled out a loop of my intestines, cut through it, and then basically like, we call it output, but like all the food that you've digested comes out of it into a bag that's stuck to your stomach. So basically like, I wasn't really fussed about having one. Like, I was quite worried, because I know I don't heal very well. I was quite worried about like the potential of not healing well and getting sepsis and dying, so I was like, I'd rather have a bag. So I woke up and I was like, oh, that's good. Which I think a lot of people probably really don't want to have one, but I was just like, I'd rather have one and be healthier in the long run. So she was just chatting to me, and she said that they actually had to take out less of my small intestine than they thought they were going to have to, which was good. Basically the low residue diet and everything seemed to have like worked taking some of the inflammation out. One thing I do remember from those first 2 days is being horrendously itchy. The morphine was making me itch so bad. I remember being like half asleep and the nurses are coming around, and I was literally just clawing at my legs like, ah. I was like, I'm so itchy, and they're like, stop, because I was literally like scratching the hell out of my skin. I was just so itchy. But I didn't feel any pain at all when I woke up. Like, for those first 2 days, sorry, I felt nothing. Like, literally did not feel anything, because I had they come around giving me paracetamol tablets, but I was also on a morphine drip. But I had these little, it's like these little tiny tubes, like they're a bit like cannulas, and they go into your like either side of your incision. So I had like that going it straight into my incision to make sure it didn't hurt too bad. So I didn't even feel it. But I did wake up with like loads of like stuff on my chest, like I couldn't breathe. So I think the second day I woke up and I started having a massive panic attack, because I was like, I can't breathe, and they were like, just calm down. I was like, I can't breathe, and then I just triggered myself into a massive panic attack. So that wasn't too fun. And when they realised it was because I had like loads of stuff on my chest, one of the other surgeons that assisted with my surgery, he prescribed me like a nebulizer, which is like a mask with I think they just put like saline in the one that I was using, like salt water, to try and clear everything out. The problem with that was after I got prescribed those, I started being sick all the time, like bright green sick. It was horrible. And we didn't really know like why I was being sick, because I was eating fine and I was drinking fine. My stoma was working. Little tip, by the way, if your stoma is taking ages to work, eat something that's sugar-free, because the sweeteners in sugar-free foods can like basically wake up your bowels. So that's what I did. Like, when I woke up, straight away got to eating the like sugar-free jelly and stuff, and it woke it up, so that was good. And I'll probably do that for my reversal surgery as well, so like take some sugar-free stuff. But I started being sick and we didn't really know why. So they were like, oh, well, we think it's best that we take you off the morphine, you know, because you keep being sick. And I was like, oh my God. So it's like, fine, just take it off, because I was in so much pain. Like, I wasn't in any pain like when I wasn't being sick. I felt perfectly fine, but when I was being sick, it was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. I felt like my incision was just gonna split open. It was the like most severe, like, agonizing. I can't even describe it. Like, thinking about it, it makes me feel sick. It hurt so bad. I was crying because it really hurt. Yeah, it was just absolutely, like, it hurt so bad. Like, I would be like being sick, and because I was being sick I couldn't really breathe already, but then because I was in so much pain I couldn't breathe, and I was like clutching a pillow to my stomach, like, oh my God. Like, I really felt like my stitches were gonna bust open. I was in so much pain. I was really like scared, freaking out, thinking, oh my God, like something's really wrong and like I'm gonna die. Like, I'm so scared, like what is happening. I thought maybe like something had gone wrong with the surgery, so they took me off morphine. I was still being sick, and then they were like, oh, hang on a minute, how many days have you been being sick for? And I was like, 3. They were like, oh, did we do anything different like 3 days ago? And I was like, I got put on the nebulizers. And they were like, oh yeah, nebulizers can make you be sick sometimes. So it's the nebulizers that was making me be sick, which is annoying because I probably could have been on morphine for longer, because after that I was just straight away on paracetamol, because they did offer me like other stuff like Oromorph, and they offered me something else as well. I can't remember what, but because I'd been being sick, I didn't want to take any medicines that were like really strong, because I was like, oh, what if it makes me be sick again? Because it was literally the worst pain of my life. So I'd rather be in like a bit of discomfort and a bit of pain than be in the absolute agony I was in when I was being sick. So yeah, I was basically just grinning and bearing it, basically, like putting up with the bit of pain because I'd rather not be sick again. And then, oh, I was still struggling really badly with the food again. Like, hospital food's just not where it's at. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's grim. I really wish that like we would have been able to have visitors, because I could have just got my mum to bring me in a Mackey's or something. I probably would have as well. But it was just like, I just hate the hospital food. I hate it so much. It's so grim. And like basically the only thing that I could eat was ice cream and yogurt. The yogurts in hospital and the ice creams in hospital are really nice, like really nice, but and the apple juice that they give you in the morning, this tiny little apple juice, that's really nice, but the rest of the food is not where it's at. Even the chips, not good. So I don't know what, like, because I am like gonna have a reversal because my stoma is temporary. I don't know what snacks to take with me. I took loads of snacks with me when I went for the surgery that I had before, and I barely ate any of them because I kept being sick all the time. So maybe like day 2 or day 3, I emptied my stoma bag for the first time, like by myself. Well, it wasn't really by myself. One of the nurses, her name was Molly, she was really nice. She held a bedpan for me to empty it into because I was still struggling to get around a bit, and I like emptied it into it. But I emptied it by myself, went pretty well considering I'd never done it before. I'd used the practice kit before, but because they do give you like a little practice kit to like do a little trial run. I'll show you what the practice kits are in another video. But yeah, so emptied my bag, it went fine. The stoma nurse came to see me as well and changed my bag for me. Like, because when you wake up, it's like a clear plastic bag, so they can see into the bag and like see what's going on without like messing with you too much. and then they change it to a bag that you can't see in unless you like lift up the little flap. So they changed me into a different bag, and it was like a high output bag because my output was really high at first. And then they were doing my bloods like every day to see what was going on, which was grim. Like 6 o'clock in the morning they do your obs, you finally fall back asleep, and then like 7 o'clock they turn the lights on as bright as they go, and I'm there like covering up my face like with my mask on my pillow, like and they're like, "Hi Ellie, I've come to get some blood from you," and I would just be like, "Take it, just take it and go," because I was just so tired. I think as well, like my surgeon was like, "Oh, like how are you feeling? Do you feel like better?" And at the time I was like, I feel the same, because I was just so tired from being sick and like getting woken up all the time. And so I was like, no, I feel the same. There's a huge difference to how I was at first to how I am now. Like, it's insane. So they were doing my bloods every day, and they were like, your red blood cells are really low, so we're gonna have to do a blood transfusion. So they came along with this bag of blood and like hung it up, put it into my cannula, and I felt like I was in an episode of the Vampire Diaries. So I got the blood transfusion. I felt a bit better after that, because I'd felt so drained, you know, from like being sick all the time and stuff. I can't remember what day it was when I first saw my incision, but I looked at it and was like, whoa, that is big. It was really neat though. Like, my surgeon had sewn it shut with dissolvable stitches so that I wouldn't have to have any staples or stitches taken out, and it would be a bit neater, which was really good. Trigger warning, I'll put up a picture here of what it looked like, the incision, when I got home. I don't have any pictures of what it looked like while I was in the hospital, like when I first woke up, because I was just out of it and drained. But I'll put up a picture of it, of what it looked like when I got home. So a few days kind of went on of me like I was literally just sitting around watching Netflix all day. I bought this like screen magnifier. It was the best purchase I've ever made, because I could put it on my little wheelie table, put my phone on it, and it would be blown up like to the size of like a laptop screen. So that was quite good, and I used that every day. It was so good. And then yeah, it was just like waiting, really. I was desperate to go home. Some of the nurses were like the same nurses that I'd had in ward 56 and ward 40, so that was good, because there was like a bit more like friendly faces this time, so I feel like it was a bit easier to get through. And like the people that I stayed in with, they were all like in and out like after a couple of days, so it wasn't too bad. Like, there was no weirdos. Everyone was like nice and good, and everyone kind of like kept to themselves. I definitely kept to myself like the whole time. I had my curtain pulled around pretty much the entire time, because I was just getting freaked out. I think because of what happened before, I just felt more comfortable with the curtain pulled round. Like, I just felt a lot safer and like a lot more settled when the curtain was pulled around, so I just had it pulled around all the time. And then it had been a week. I woke up and they were like, all the nurses were saying to me, "Oh, I think you're going home today. I think you're going home." And I was like, really? Yes, finally. So then I texted my mum. I was like, everyone's saying they think I'm going to come home. And then I think it was a consultant came around. I'd never seen him before, so I can't quite remember. He came around and he was like, "Oh, well, like we were going to send you home, but because your output is like a lot more than what we'd want it to be, we'd rather keep you in and basically monitor it, because if your output is too high, you can get kidney failure." And I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I was like, I will literally go home and buy a jug from Poundland and measure the output myself I do not want to be here anymore. I can't be here for another day. I was crying. I was like, I need to go home. There's no way that I'm going to heal better here than I will at home. Like, I will be less stressed. I'll feel more comfortable. Like, I'll be able to eat more, like eat whatever I want, because I can't, like I can barely eat here because I don't like the food. I was like, I just need to go home. I'll literally buy a jug and measure the output myself. Like, I don't care. So he was like, oh, I'll go and speak to like your surgeon about it and see what she says. So he left and he came back and he was like, I've spoke to your surgeon and she says that you can go home. And I was like, woo! Yes! I was like, thank you so much. Like, I'm sorry for getting upset, but I was just like, it was all just getting too much. Like, I couldn't be there anymore. And that was it then. I packed up my stuff. Mum and my auntie came and picked me up. And that was it. I got my keys on the way home. It was good. Yeah, like I came home and really since then I've just been like taking my time healing. I've been like out to the pub and stuff. I've been like walking around. This month I've been, well, not this month because it's July now, but for the month of June I did walk it as well for Crohn's and Colitis UK. So I'm definitely like feeling a lot better. I've got way more energy than I did before. It's insane. I still get some pain sometimes, and some days I wake up and I'm absolutely exhausted, but nowhere near what it was before. It's so much better, and I would do it all over again because it was 100%, like, it's made such a difference. And then that's pretty much it, like, until yesterday I went to the hospital for an appointment. It was supposed to be with my surgeon, but she'd had an emergency, so she wasn't there. But basically another doctor said to me they're going to send me for an x-ray. I thought I was going to have to go for a colonoscopy, but they've said that I don't have to. They're just going to send me for an x-ray just to make sure everything's healed up all right, and then they're going to think about scheduling my reversal surgery. So that's a bit crazy. Oh, I'll show you what my scar looks like now. So if you don't want to see a scar, if you're like triggered by it, look away. So here it is. So here's my scar now. That's my bag. I'll just move that out of the way. So this is my scar. It goes down quite far. It was supposed to only be like from here to here, like this much. So it's like probably like double the size of what it was supposed to be, but it's healing up quite well. And yeah, that's basically it for this video. I just wanted to give a big shout out to everyone that donated to my fundraiser for Crohn's and Colitis UK. It really means a lot to me, so thanks so much if you donated, and thanks a lot if you even just shared it. I'll put the link down below still, because you can still donate to it till I think it's the 16th of July, so if you want to do that you can do. And thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and press the bell so you get notifications. I think I'll be doing a video about stomas next week, so keep your eyes peeled for that one if you're interested.